March 13, 2006, Northwick Park Hospital, London. 6 healthy young men volunteered for a drug trial. They were promised £2,000 each for 2 days of their time. By the end of the first hour, all 6 were fighting for their lives. Their heads swelled to grotesque sizes, their organs shut down, their immune systems went into overdrive, attacking their own bodies. The media called them the Elephant Men. This is the story of TGN-142, a drug designed to help that instead turned humans into experiments. This is the story of how the human body, when pushed too far, can become its own worst enemy. The 6 men who walked into Parexel's testing facility that Monday morning were healthy, carefully screened, all between 19 and 34. Ryan Wilson, 20, had recently become a father. Rob Hutchinson was training to be a plumber. Mohammed Abdul-Hafiz was a TV trainee. They'd all signed consent forms, been through medical checks. Were told the drug was expected to be safe. It had passed animal testing. They had no reason to worry. At 8 a.m. the trial began. The protocol was careful. 2 would receive placebo. 4 would receive TGN-1412, a monoclonal antibody designed to treat leukemia and arthritis. They sat in recliners, IV lines in their arms. The drug was administered slowly, one volunteer after another, at 10-minute intervals. Standard procedure. But within 90 minutes, the room had turned into hell. The first man to receive the drug, he went first. At 8:50 a.m., he complained of a headache. By 9 o'clock, he was shivering uncontrollably. 9:15, severe back pain. Temperature spiking. 9:30, the second man started showing symptoms. Then the third, the fourth. One by one, they began to deteriorate. Headaches that felt like their skulls were splitting. Violent shivering, vomiting, difficulty breathing. The staff scrambled. Within 2 hours, all 4 men who'd received the real drug were in critical condition. The 2 on placebo sat there terrified. What happened next is what made this case infamous. The swelling. Ryan Wilson's head began to swell, grotesquely. His face inflated like a balloon, his neck disappeared, his eyes swelled shut. One by one, their heads enlarged to twice their normal size. But the real horror was happening inside their bodies. TGN-142 was designed to activate T cells, the cells that fight disease. In these 6 men, it activated them all, at once. This is called a cytokine storm. Their immune systems went into catastrophic overdrive. Massive amounts of inflammatory proteins flooded the bloodstream. It's like setting off every fire alarm in a city simultaneously. The response becomes the emergency. Blood pressure plummeted. Multiple organ failure began. Blood vessels became permeable. Lungs filling with fluid. Kidneys shutting down. Liver damage. Massive inflammation throughout the entire body. Ryan Wilson's lungs collapsed. His toes and fingers turned black from lack of blood flow, gangrene setting in. Mohammed Abdul-Hafiz lost portions of his fingers and toes to amputation. All 4 were placed in medically induced comas, on ventilators, on dialysis. The doctors didn't know if they would survive. How did this happen? It had been tested extensively in animals. Mice, no problems. Rats, no problems. Monkeys, no problems. Even at doses 500 times higher than the men received. The trial was approved. The facility was reputable. So what went wrong? Animal testing doesn't always predict human response. TGN-142 targeted a specific receptor on T cells called CD28. In animals, it bound but didn't cause this cascade. In humans, different story. Human memory T cells, the ones that remember past infections, responded far more aggressively. This was an unforeseen biological reaction. But here's the controversy. Critics argue the trial rushed ahead without enough caution. All 6 men received the drug within the same 90-minute window, instead of over days or weeks as later protocols would require. And crucially, the drug was tested in healthy young men, not in the sick patients it was intended to help. Financial pressures overrode safety. The company Tegenero went bankrupt within months. No criminal charges were filed. They had followed the rules, as they existed in 2006. The rules changed after. Miraculously, all 6 men survived. But survival came at a cost. Ryan Wilson spent 4 months in the hospital. He lost parts of his toes, required 16 operations. He said, "I was a healthy 20-year-old. Now I feel 60. Mohammed Abdul-Hafiz lost fingers and toes. Others faced chronic fatigue, recurring infections, and deep psychological trauma. In 2012, after a 6-year legal battle, the men received settlements. But money doesn't restore your health. Trials now require sentinels. One volunteer receives the drug first and is observed for an extended period before others. But the fundamental problem remains. We cannot perfectly predict human biology from animal testing. Someone has to go first. These 6 men weren't trying to be heroes. They needed money. The compensation seemed reasonable for minimal risk. They became toxic because science pushed their bodies into self-destruction. They were poisoned by progress. This is the paradox of medical advancement. We need human trials to develop life-saving drugs, but we can't fully predict the risk. All 6 participants survived. TGN 1.2 was never approved for use. Someone has to go first. Next time on Toxic Humans, the Japanese artist who became radioactive, the case of Hiroshi Ochi.